Curtain.
I feel like it's Hey guys. Hi.
Hey y'all.
Hi everyone. Oh my goodness.
Hey Dana.
Hey
Boopy. Hey Jamie.
Yes. Oh, Dana.
Oh, girl.
Dana said, so glad you got home and Pooh Bear is doing better. Guys, it's been quite a day. Quite a couple days actually. But here we are, and we are very, very happy to be here today. We're very happy that
I'm all slouched in my chair, so
and I'm wearing my fine tartan.
Tina,
My fine tartan. Yeah, guys. So, hey, happy Sunday. Hello, everyone. And thanks for joining our podcast, Back in the Closet. Hi, my love. Come here.
Oh, my goodness. You little lover boy today.
We are going to be talking about a very fun subject that we've recently had a lot of awesome experience with, called manifestation, or if you'd like to call it Operation Manifestation.
That's right.
In full effect, we can call it that. There's good things, there's great things, there's fun things to talk about. And so we're going to do that on our podcast. And what we do here, for those of you that are new, but I think you're all our VIPs right now, what we do here is we go live on YouTube.
Hi, Rachel.
On Sunday evenings, and we record our podcast that gets dropped on Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, all those places tomorrow. And but we record it live here with you guys. Oh, hi, my love.
Zia's our little love doctor.
He's our fairy tale love.
Yes. Hey, Robin. Hey, Lois.
So yes.
Pooh Bear is what happened to Pooh Bear?
Yeah. Okay. So, let's just give you a little backstory before we record our podcast. So, because most of you guys are like already, you already know that we spent today at the vet. And what had happened was, Pooh Bear is our orange tabby with an autoimmune disease, and he's our most problematic child, I would say. Like he's gone through pretty much.
He's been through a lot,
right? And he, on the 1st of 2021, January 1st, he threw up. Now, we're not one to just be like, rush to the vet as soon as a cat throws up. We just keep an eye on him, check and make sure that maybe it was a hairball. There was a little bit of a hairball in the first vomit. And then we found several others, and they were all like foamy. So we started getting really worried about him, keeping a really close eye on him. It's of course the first. It's New Year's Day, so everything's closed. Our vets are closed on Friday anyway. Our vet's office, or his vet, is closed on Friday. And so we were like, okay, well, let's just keep an eye on him. He ate his breakfast that morning. That evening, he did not want to eat, which is very unlike Pooh Bear. Pooh Bear
loves his
a big
meals.
Boy, and he loves his food. So it was unlike him. And so we were like, okay, well, let's just wait and see again. And then yesterday we really started getting worried because he didn't eat his breakfast. We had our company meeting yesterday afternoon. We started discussing it. I started discussing how he really shouldn't go too long without eating and, stuff and things. And then so we started syringe feeding him, and we had a group of, for Trish and Pam and Lindsay, we had all these people. We're updating every second. What should we do? We're going to syringe feed him. Now we're going to go get baby food, and we're going to get bone broth, and we got goat's milk, and we got marshmallow root, and we got all the stuff and things that you would need to try to get a cat back to health if you're thinking that he's not healthy right now. And
his autoimmune disease is an inflammatory, has manifested usually as a vascular issue. So he'll bleed from his ears and his eyes when he's having a flare up. This appears to be an internal flare up, and he's got ulcers in his throat, or basically the roof of his mouth. But wow. Yeah.
So we didn't know what to do. So
it was just scary because Pooh Bear likes to eat. So a huge shout out to Pam and Lindsay and Trish.
Yes.
And Vicky Larson. I mean, really so many people
so many people on our side we were talking to that are just, I've been in these kind of situations. So we're so blessed to have these beautiful people.
Yes.
And all of you
Our
guys.
whole
in our,
VIP group was so supportive today. We were.
Yeah. So this morning he still wasn't eating. We were starting to get extra scared. So we found a vet that's open that we forgot about, that's open. And we took him in. They did x-rays. We were worried about an obstruction of some sort because of all the vomiting. And he looks like he's really struggling to vomit. And so, and
just very lethargic and
and
happy.
And it wasn't comfortable today. Like today, what it was that really tipped us off, and we were like, let's just go to the vet, was that he was uncomfortable. You could tell, like, just trying to lay down, and we were like, what's going on with his organs? So we take him in, we get x-rays. They said all the x-rays looked good, all the organs looked good. He just had a blood test in October. And we brought that, and they were like, the blood test looks good so far. We might want to run another one if the problem persists. But
and he was back in November for his dental and was doing great.
Yep. And so they were like, he's probably got something like gastritis or a stomach bug or something like that. And so she gave him some fluids, and she gave him some anti-nausea medicine, and sent him home. And now she said, he'll probably eat tonight or tomorrow. So we're keeping an eye on him still. But that was our day. That was our day. It was quite a day. And then we had to come home and film.
So we missed our awesome VIP live giveaway today, which
we'll postpone. We're going to do next week.
Super excited.
We've had enough Zooms lately anyway. It's okay if we skip a Zoom for a live giveaway. But
Sterling is here.
I know so many of you guys are. Sterling, hello. Yeah, he's doing well. He's now snuggling, which is some of the signs, and you guys want to look out for this. If you're like, my cat's kind of throwing up, but then he's also hissing and growling at you when you pet him, or even
hiding,
hissing and growling at the other cats when they were coming up to just try to like Twist, his best friend, Oliver Twist. It was trying to bathe him and like care for him, and he was like, and you're like, okay, you definitely don't feel well, so we have to do something. So we did something, and we're keep your prayers and your positive thoughts raised, because hopefully everything's going to be just fine.
Hi, Becky. This is Zora.
I choose to believe that everything's going to be just fine.
I'm the worst. Like, Jay's the one that has Jay's the one that has the anxiety issue. But when there's something wrong with one of my babies, I am prone to panic like a little girl. So
very much panic.
Yeah. So feels good to be breathing right now. And hopefully he's gonna eat between the podcast and the live tonight. And he's gonna be on the mend. He's already, just seeing him
he's now snuggling with
right. When he got home, he's super stressed, and we really wanted to avoid the ER vet and the vaccines that they require anytime you go in. So we were really happy to find this vet today. And he's been just a little Boo Bear's been a little hard to come down that high anxiety since he's gotten home. So this is his first rest really since he got home.
Yeah, he's snuggling right now.
Twist, give him a bath.
Yeah.
So it makes me very happy.
So he's doing good. He's doing good. But let's record a podcast and let's talk about some manifestation, because I think this actually ties in really well as to what we're talking about here.
I love you, Lindsay. She's with Adrienne. Your face said it all yesterday.
Yeah, it sure did.
Struggle bus.
Yeah. Okay, guys, here we go.
All right, here we go.
Welcome to episode number 0056. 56.
It is 6.
It is 6 of Back in the Closet with the Two Crazy Cat Ladies. Today, guys, we want to talk a little bit about manifestation.
Operation Manifestation.
Yes, because we've had some recent experiences that we have been chomping at the bit. Is that the right word?
That is the right word.
Man, I'm doing good.
What was the one that you said the other day? Chomping at the... something.
Yeah, I said something wrong. I think it was on our last podcast. Anyway, I normally say normally say everything wrong. But we've been really excited to tell you guys about our recent experience with manifestation, if you will. Now, there's, I know that where I come from in the church that I grew up in, manifestation is woo-woo, and manifestation is basically what they call New Age, or they called New Age. And my youth pastor even said, like this type of thought process is cultish. Do you remember that?
Yeah, but I think it's such a biblical thing in so many ways.
It is. It is. Absolutely. It is. So talking
most
about
religions have manifestation in them.
Oh, they do. I mean, ours did for sure. Like growing up, it is totally biblical. There's a verse in the Bible that says, whatsoever you ask in faith, believing you shall receive. And that's basically what manifestation is, right? It's asking, believing, and receiving. And it's not as easy as some of the like films even make it out to be. Like, I remember The Secret.
Yeah.
We read the book first, and we were like, we like the book better than the DVD.
Right.
DVD. You remember
there was
DVDs?
a DVD back
Do you remember
in the
DVDs?
Day?
We liked the book, and then we watched the movie, The Secret, or documentary, if you will, The Secret, and it was all about how, like, if you really truly whatever you want, you can absolutely manifest into your life by believing that you already have it and receiving it, ask, believe, receive, right? Like this whole, and so, you know, a lot of people took that as, okay, I'm going to sit here and believe
I'm going to manifest
$1 million.
$1 million check and it's not how it works.
No, it's not. I mean, it's not always how it works. Sometimes it does, but it really, really depends on much more than just like a thought. It's not like, right. Thoughts do become things, but you have to have a certain feeling behind those thoughts and a real faith. It's like, it's the difference between hope and faith, right? And in the religion that I grew up in, the reason that even though they still believe the Bible, they don't believe that. I don't know. There's a disconnect somewhere because it's more of hope. You pray to hope that Pooh Bear gets better. We pray to hope that, instead of like the faith of actually believing.
Yeah. But you know, us Catholics or closet Catholics, in my case, really dig into that whole faith without works is dead thing. Oh, yeah. It's all about like doing what you believe. I mean, really, really digging into faith and acting. It's the whole ask, believe, receive. The feeling of already receiving whatever it is you're trying to manifest is a difficult emotion. Like, it's a very serious thing or very, you know what I mean? It's like to already feel like I have whatever it is I'm trying to manifest. Or
but have you ever been in a situation where you did actually, for whatever reason, really feel it wasn't like I'm going to really feel this within my, like you weren't telling, like you weren't trying to feel it. You were just feeling it, like really believing it. And then it came into fruition. Mm-hmm. Remember the Hoodly Doodly?
Oh my God. Like Jae had a thing when we first met that we referred to
that we
as
called Hoodly Doodly.
It mainly worked on my CD player because I could never get my CD player to work. And we really wanted to listen to a CD one day. And she was like,
do you remember CDs?
She was like, it's going to play. And she would just wave her hand, like do this little thing. And every time would start playing. Like I would go weeks without my CD player working.
And then I would get in the car.
And then Jae was like,
and I would I don't know. I'm not necessarily.
She has skills.
What I know is that, thoughts are the beginning of a manifestation, right? So the things that you think about, you do bring about in some way, shape, or form, which is why oftentimes I get so wrapped up when I'm in the car and I just start today, because we had Pooh Bear, because we were rushing to the vet. Today we had to make a vet visit for one of our cats that was sick, and he was in the back of the car, and I pull up at a stoplight and I'm just looking in my rear view mirror and I'm like, what if this car rear ends, or what if that, and then he didn't even think I know. And then I'm like, wash that out of my head, because I don't want to like, create an issue that I didn't need to create. Now I know that like, maybe that's far-fetched, but when I have these negative thoughts in my head, I quickly try to wash them out so that they are not with something positive or just with something dumb, so that I can like not try to not get negative in my own personal feelings or body get too stressed about something that is absolutely not even there, like being so discontent in a future that doesn't exist, like, but also so that I don't give any energy to that negative thought.
It's so true. It's the hamster wheel that our heads get on when something bad happens and it just avalanches into, or something, I put air quotes around it, something bad happens. And then it's like, there's this spirit of negativity that just kind of avalanches throughout the day or a season, an entire life, whatever. And it's the hamster wheel that our heads get in of just expecting bad things, and it influences our attitude and how we treat other people and what everything.
And thus our future.
Right.
That's what it does. And you know what? I know people. So we have customers. We have customers that I am 100% convinced that the only reason their cats are sick all the time or have all of these issues, or maybe they don't actually have the issues, I don't know, but is because they are so high stressed. Everything is negative. Every day it's like, well, listen here, there's another thing. Of course there's going to be another thing, because there's always another thing. It's always a negative thing. There's always and these customers have been with us for years and years, and always trying to you want to just send them to like a Buddhist colony or something, you want to just be like, hey, you know what? I bet your cats will get better if you could just get better, right? Like if you can take that negativity away, I bet everything would be okay. And I thought about that yesterday. So our cat Pooh Bear fell ill, if you will, a couple days ago, and he started vomiting, and he was lethargic, and he wasn't eating, and all of this scared us. And so the past couple days we've been really, worried about him. And today we went to the vet, but and he's okay. But I was thinking
he's getting there.
He is, and I was thinking with like our text messages or our conversations between the two of us, or even text messages with like Trish and Lindsay and whatever. And I'm like, does everybody think that I actually don't even give a shit about this cat? Because I'm like, he's probably just telling us that he needs to lose. No, he needs to lose weight. That's why he's decided January 1st is the time that he's going to start this weight program. And I'm trying to make as light of it as possible. And I know, in my head, I'm stressing out, but it's the same situation as thinking about the car coming up behind me. I'm like, no, let me put out something that is 100%, everything's going to be fine, so that I'm not trying, and I'm not manifesting negativity in his life or in his health. Right.
Well, I think it's with anything, it's being intentional about our thoughts and being in control of them, like taking responsibility for them, which I think is hard for me to do, especially in a stressed out situation.
I think it's hard for everybody.
Right. So
most.
It does make a difference though, to try to remind yourself all the time, is this thought process being helpful? Is it even productive? I get that there are going to be times where you've got to work through things. Mm-hmm. And, as cat parents, I'm not sure that I think there's a specific customer that you're talking about that we've known for a long time. And it's like, when they go to the vet, everything's fine, but there's always something, and there's a lot going on in that person's life. So, but I think that it's so important to be intentional and to really try to, especially in stressed out times, to make a habit of putting mental bumpers on your thoughts.
Yeah.
So that it doesn't get out of control. Because I literally felt like I was getting close to a little bit of a panic attack or something. It was just like I'm not going to be able to handle this.
Yeah. You were fighting tears at the vet's office today.
Yeah. I do that on a regular basis anyways, but, I'm very sensitive, you guys.
Yeah.
I'm very sensitive.
Very sensitive, but it's true. Okay. So when it comes to manifestation, the thing that I wanted to tell you guys about was an experience that we recently had. And then we can go over wow, I forgot about the hoodly doodly and all the CD not working and all that stuff. And there's several others that have happened along our journey where we can't not believe that really truly believing.
It's like magic.
Right.
It feels like
magic because it's not something that we're just like taught in school or society, or it's, like you work really hard to make money and that's how all that works. And it's like, you got to do all this stuff and things. If you want to, you have to do all these things. If you want to be healthy for the rest of your life, you have to remember not to eat processed foods. You have to remember that organic is organic, but you have to, like all these stuff and things. I'm getting off on a tangent, but,
I know.
So recently we have our boss Lindsay is she's working with us as of this year. Thank God. I think I also manifested that.
Yes.
Let me just say that.
This year she started in 2020.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 2020. So Lindsay started in 2020. It was I think the end of 2019. That I was watching a live from another couple of gals that are just like awesome. They're named Kat and Nat. You probably know them. They're here on YouTube. They're on a podcast. They're everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. But they, when we found them, we were like, oh my God, they're like the straight version of us. They're awesome. And then they're nothing about cats. They're moms. They're not talking about, they're not cat moms. But they were talking about how they started their business with just the two of them on social media. And then how they got their first employee, whose name was Lindsay, and what all she did to really help change their life and their future and organize their life, and how they couldn't have done it without her. And my first comment to them ever was, I need a Lindsay.
No joke.
No lie. I need a Lindsay. And then May of 2020. Because we
would always see their Lindsay on their lives, reminding them about stuff, putting stuff in the queue, doing all the stuff and things that we really needed in our life in general.
Right. Right. And then this year, and I just threw that out there as like, I need a Lindsay. Like, it wasn't like I need somebody named Lindsay that can do the but I threw it, I put that out there, and I was like, and I did say, I think that maybe it's a coincidence that her name is also Lindsay, but
there are no coincidences.
But no, I don't know if there's any coincidences.
You need to understand that when you manifest, it's very specific. So do it very carefully.
Sometimes it is very specific, which I'm going to get to shortly. But yeah, so I did say, I have been saying for a while, and then I really started believing at the beginning of 2020. This is what we have to do. We're going to find. I thought it was going to be a completely different way, but organically, Lindsay came to us into our lives, and we formed a bond and a relationship. And then she just so happened to, because of COVID, lose her job. And since she so happened to lose her job and wanted to work from home, we were like,
hey, could you help us with some stuff?
So now she's working with us, and she's our boss, and
she's our boss
now,
and she's our brain.
Now the goal is, and what we've been saying and what's been manifesting and what's been happening in so many different ways, I won't go into all of them, but every sign is pointing to Lindsay needs to move to Vegas now because she's in New Jersey. So
we've
so
never
that's
actually
happening.
met, just for anyone who's wondering.
We've never met in person.
We've never met.
I mean, we see each other every day over FaceTime, but we've never met in person. And now she's coming to Vegas, and that's the goal. So a couple weeks ago, we were having another meeting, and I brought up the fact that I felt like I was manifesting because I just felt this overwhelming feeling that this was going to happen. I didn't even want to mention it. Remember me being like, I don't want to jinx myself, but this is what I'm feeling. I don't know. I just have a really strong feeling that like maybe our neighbors who I got, I don't know that that's going to be, but I feel like maybe our neighbor, somebody close by, is going to tell us, because we love our neighbors, hey, I need to go live closer to my family or my grandkids or my children for a little while, maybe a year or so. And could you guys watch my house, or if I rent it out, could you,
keep an eye on things?
Because that's what our neighbors would do. And I just had this overwhelming feeling that was going to happen. And it was going to happen at the same time that Lindsay's moving out here so that she can actually rent the house and hopefully live across the street from us. So work and cats is going to be real easy. We can just,
and not to scare Lindsay off though, because that is pretty close. Yeah.
That's pretty close. But I was thinking, at first, like that, it might be advantageous.
You have used that word so many times this weekend.
I know. For us to be close because we need her here, but her cats need her there. So maybe it'll just be like, that. I don't know. Throwing it out there, just saying it. And 2 weeks go by. We get a text from a very unexpected friend who says, "Hey guys, I've been meaning to text you. I have a very dear friend who lives in Vegas, who has a 2-bedroom, 2-bath home, who is leaving to go see her or be with her mom in Hawaii. And she's going to be renting out her house. And so if you know anybody, and it has a catio, and it's like really like exactly in the price range of what we were hoping for."
Which is,
and so, right.
In Vegas is hopeful.
Right. And so, if you guys know anybody that's looking to rent, and we were like, oh, and I was like, no way.
Because we both got the sound she made when the text
I came running down the stairs. I was like,
squeaking. Like she couldn't even make words. It was a very special moment.
Did you see that? Did you get that? And she was like, I was like, Lindsay. And she was like, oh, well, I mean, but
I was Lindsay's like, she's probably asking for like now. We're looking at, Lindsay has stuff she needs to wrap up. And
we asked.
So then we asked.
Because we're looking at April, right?
Exact start date.
Yes. She was like, no, she's got some stuff to wrap up. So she's not going to be renting until April 1st. So that would be the start date. And we were like, what the F just seriously happened? That was manifestation. Like that was manifestation. So we don't know. I mean, as humans, all of the doubts are coming in, and it's like, oh, what if it's not in the right area? And what if it's kind of far. It's not our neighbor. It's not next to us.
Like 20
it's not
minutes
super
away.
Close. It's 20 minutes away.
Here's the thing about manifestation though. And I think that was exactly the reminder, whether it completely manifests into the actual situation, it was the reminder that we needed, that this is a very real thing, that it is another
affirmation, if you will.
Well, not just an affirmation of everything that we're moving towards and want to build and grow and be. It is just, especially after 2020, it's just such a reminder that as much as the shit stuff is real and there are terrible things that happen in the world, this manifestation thing is super real. Yeah. And it's really important, and even more important in the midst of challenges, to be focused on manifesting in whatever way that you want to put those linguistics together. I have to read Trisha's comment here, and I know we're missing a lot, but I believe that this is one of my most favorite verses. And this to me is this is really a truncation of, is truncation a word?
We'll make it. We'll make it a word. It's a word, truncation.
It is whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things.
Wow.
That's from the Bible, Philippians. Thank you, Trish. That's what I mean by mental bumpers. It's when I realize that I'm spending so much more time of my mental allotment on negative, scary things that I don't even know are going to happen, but I'm already negative about them. Oh, well, that's not going to work out because blah, 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 whatever it is, then that is the verse. Those are the mental bumpers. I'm recognizing that I'm spending more time thinking about something diseased or disappointing or negative.
What if this goes wrong? What if that wasn't the right decision? Guys, when I moved out to Vegas, I can't tell you how many green lights I got and how many times I fought it, saying, no, okay, that's clearly a green light, but I still don't know that I'm actually supposed to make that kind of move. I don't know that I'm supposed to do, like, that's a really big thing all by myself. Like, seriously? I don't know anybody there.
I have to give a shout out. Here's a strange way that manifestation can work sometimes. So when Jae was applying to this job, it was like in Vegas, and we were just two little campers in Tennessee.
My grandfather lived out here, who I never knew. I only met twice at that time in my life, briefly.
Here's how strange things work, though, is that we were both kind of freaked out about the prospect of you moving, because at the time there was just no way in the world I would ever be moving. So, but we also knew that it was going to be difficult to live apart.
Thousands of miles.
Right. 2,000 miles away from each other. So we did a little exercise called red light, green light, where we just decided not to have, I decided within myself not to be upset about the prospect of you moving, and to really be excited for if this were to happen, and this is something that's meant to be, and this is part of a journey that maybe you need on your own, or maybe we will have together in some weird way or whatever. So we did this exercise of red light, green light. And there were some we don't have time to go into it, but there were some very pivotal moments that were nearly, they were unbelievable. Some of them.
Oh yeah. Like the final one, let me just throw that out there, because here in Vegas, it's legal. It wasn't then and there.
Just bring it real.
Okay, so to bring it very real, the night before, because I was trying to reject, there were so many green lights. There were so many, yes, Jae, this is where you were supposed to be. You were supposed to be going.
So she wanted to throw a roadblock.
I was like, okay, God, if you're for real, I'm going to test you with the biggest test I've ever, because I was so scared. I was scared to make that big of a move. So I was like, I'm going to test you with everything I've got. And the night before, I took a drug test to get the job at the Wynn Hotel Las Vegas, to open up the Wynn Hotel Las Vegas. I smoked a joint. I did it just to fail the drug test so that I could
say, well, no, that's not going to work.
It's not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be. I didn't get the job.
There's a chance that
I got the job.
That was in your system.
I got the job.
It was a hair drug test.
It was a hair drug test. It took a long time for that little chunk of hair to grow back.
So it was 4 months worth of evidence that somehow still worked out. And I mean, even in like in the circle of life kind of thing, Jae and I were broke AF. There was no way that she could just like move out there and pay for things. And in a crazy way, shout out to my grandmother, Enos, who passed on Christmas Eve of that prior year in 2004, and left to me $1,000, which was,
I think it was $1,500.
It was 1,000.
Was it?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we somehow,
or maybe it was 1,100.
Okay. Anyway.
But it might as well have been $10,000 at the time. It was like, we actually have money to help with the move. Like this is a crazy thing.
Yep.
And we both have quite the affection still for my grandma Clouthier.
Yeah. Yeah.
But just crazy things that.
But just, I mean, so, we're always talking about like positive thinking, positive, reinforcement with our cats. But like the things that really make the difference.
Good way to bring it around. Like
right. The things that really make the difference is that positive energy. That negative energy doesn't bring anything good. So if we can
really focus on those things.
That's the word.
When we focus on those things that are pure, that are noble, that are right, that are praiseworthy, that are positive, that are, selfless, that are things that we know help our brains be healthier, it makes a big difference.
A huge difference. And that's, I mean, even going back to the Bible again with the faith of a mustard seed can move mountains. If you really think about that, like you really think about the faith of a mustard seed, you know how big a mustard seed is? Like it's barely visible. Like it's the tiniest little seed. And the faith, if you can have the faith, so says the Bible, if you can have the faith of that, then you can move a mountain. Can you imagine moving a mountain? Like really? Like that you can't move. We can't move mountains, but if you believe literally in the Bible that you actually can, and I actually do, not because of the Bible, but because of the other experiences that we've had. That's like, wow, how did that just happen? How did I just stop that CD from,
Well,
or that time that I could not move. Do you remember that time I could not move? We lived here. And because I had a knot, like I was like emergency room, like ready, because it was like, I couldn't breathe. I couldn't move. And Adrienne went to go like give me like a back rub, and she gives good back rubs, right? But this was like not something that like even a masseuse was going to be able to fix. Maybe I had gone to a masseuse already. I can't remember. But we literally just breathed in. We just, in total silence, breathed in like health and out pain. And strangest thing, I texted my sisters immediately. I was like, guys, this like really works, because I'm all of a sudden like, you know, you love it when I do that.
I do love it when
I should have been an opera singer.
Probably not, but I'm glad you're doing what you're doing now. But it's such a significant thing. Oh my God, I love, Tina said, just as you can manifest things, you can talk yourself out by overthinking the manifestation.
Yes, exactly.
No overthinking. I think that we have to recognize, we talk about this a lot, that the human beings are gifted with our mind, our ability to think, the logic, whatever, our hearts, our emotions, our ability to really feel and empathize. And then we have that little something called intuition that is a really powerful.
It's a sixth sense.
Well, it's really powerful. It's not that, it's like when you meet somebody, to use a obvious example, when you meet somebody and the hair in the back of your neck stands up, it's like, I'm not getting good vibes, however you want to talk about it. We have this intuition. I think that it's important to remember that human beings have so many gifts. And for us, something that we talk about all the time is that when we can bring our logical selves, our minds, our hearts, our emotions, and that feeling of intuition, like what you talk about, that moment of just like knowing something, when we can bring that into alignment, that's, I think, where manifestation begins.
Yeah, it is all about that. And who is it? Is it Deepak Chopra? I can't remember which author it was that we were reading the book, and he was talking about like that sixth sense, if you will, is just as real as touch and taste and
it's an actual energy.
Feeling, and all those, all of the senses that we have as humans. And it's something that, say, even a child knows better than most adults, because we've been taught that everything is physical and literal. It's not something bigger. I know none of us will say this out loud, but we tend to think that nothing's bigger than us, right? Like, we're not like if I can't see it, touch it, feel it, taste it, it's not right. It's not for real. It's
woo woo.
It's woo woo. It's woo woo. Yeah.
Right.
I like woo woo.
I'm
Yeah. So bringing it back to cats, this is something that I think is a good lesson for us to learn and for us to think about.
I'm trying to practice it today.
Again, scientifically, the stress that we have, our cats carry. It's already been proven. So keeping our stress low is good for our cats, but it's also good for us and for the manifestation of what comes into fruition for our cats' health, for their well-being, for their for them, just in general. If we can, you see people that are just like so happy-go-lucky, no big deal. And I know a lot of people just were maybe they were raised by parents that were like that. Neither one of us were, but raised by parents that are not, always stressed about life and not thinking that the world gets worse every single year.
To our parents' credit,
it's the end of
it's
the rapture.
While they do tend towards some
negativity,
doom and gloom, we were both raised by faith-filled families.
Correct. Yes.
And that, I think, is something that it was the little.
Well, I mean, faith-filled. We like to say faith-filled. They were religious.
My mama is faith-filled.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
My mom is too.
Right?
Yeah, my mom is too.
There is a definite.
Not all the time, but I mean, the human, whatever, creeps in from time to time
for all of us.
But yeah, so that's what we wanted to talk about with our manifestation story.
Oh, good point. Heather said it's all about energy, and Robin said we only use 10% of our brain power.
Yep.
Imagine if we tapped into the other 90%.
Exactly, and I really think that sixth sense, that intuition, as you were speaking of, or manifestation, whatever words that we want to use, is more than that 10%. It's getting beyond that 10% of what the majority of humans use with their brains. I think it's important too. Their brains in alignment with your brain and your soul and your heart. Yeah.
But I verbally identify when I'm in my head about something, right? Like I'm in my head about something, and I know that I'm in my head about something, but it's hard to get out of it, which is why for me, 2021 is going to be, I'm going to call them mental bumpers and be accountable to those every day as much as possible. And maybe tap into a little support from you every now and then when I'm definitely going,
I got you, girl,
a little outside the boundaries, because I think that is like yesterday was a good example, just really, and Lindsay and Trish and Pam, all probably witnessed a bit of, I just could not focus, be positive, be anything when there was something that big wrong, when there's something with our Pooh Bear being sick and just being that worried about it. Very difficult to think about anything else, feel anything else at all. So practicing the mental bumpers and focusing on those things that are awesome and full of light and positivity.
Yeah, and you think about that's the
point.
The most positive people in the world are the most productive people in the world and the most successful people in the world. In whatever way that is, that doesn't mean money, but the most successful people in the world, right?
For those in the podcast, she's using air quotes.
Yes. Yeah. Like literally they manifest good things in their lives because they are constantly being positive. And I mean, I learned this as a kid. I know we're like going over time, but I learned this as a kid. My mom used to tell me, well, one, in my church was, my church taught me that a negative thought is as much of a sin as a negative deed. So anytime I would have a negative thought, I would be like, erase, erase, erase in my head. Like as a child, I would be like, don't think that. And then I would like think rainbows or unicorns or something like that. I mean, literally as a child, I would think like that. And then my mom taught me, which I like, it's still a thing, but she's like, you're going to make yourself sick. She would, because my anxiety has always been just kind of high. And I would get really worried. I've always been kind of a hypochondriac. So if, daddy's sick or Liz is sick or Sissy's sick, if somebody in the household is sick, then I start getting really worried. And I get so worried that I'm like,
I feel sick.
And then my mom will be like, you're going to make yourself sick. And lo and behold, many times I would make myself sick. I would literally make myself sick because I manifested it in the negative manner. And so I learned that at a young age. And that's why I think now I can, like, it makes it a little bit easier for me to sometimes just shut it off and move. Not all the time, definitely not all the time, but definitely not all the time.
But I think it's the biggest goal of this year for me is to really get a better grip on that. And I think for both of us, I mean, I think that it's not always manifesting something good. Sometimes it's manifesting growth out of something difficult. I think that it's about the perspective.
Or 2019. Remember our house broke?
Oh, yes.
And what about that? Like, what about that? Right. We were like, oh my God, we just had $25,000 worth of damage done to our house, and we have no idea how we're going to pay for that.
In a house with no
and
walls
the insurance
and no
isn't
ceiling.
covering, like the insurance is not covering a brand new roof that we have to pay for somehow. We had no idea how we were going to do it, but what we decided is that we're going to stay positive, and what we were going to bring from this was more of an in-depth connection with our business, with our community.
And Jay, we had like this studio in our room that flooded. We had this cool studio with whatever, and all of that was gone. I mean, literally ripped out.
Everything was gone.
And so it was like, no, we can't do. We wanted to work on the YouTube show, so we can't do the YouTube show. But what we could do was just keep it super real and do lives in our backyard, which was the only place that we didn't have blowers running or plastic hanging somewhere, whatever it was. I think that the whatever's going on in our life, if we're still able to focus
and
on
what happened from that though? I mean, you
growth.
think about it, growth is what
Growth.
happened by literally just deciding we're not going to like sit back and cry about the fact that everything's broken.
We did
We're
for
gonna
about
take
5
it-
minutes though.
Yeah. Well,
There was
sure.
about 5 to 7 minutes.
Well, sure. I mean, the stress still manifested
In
sporadically
various
throughout the
Right.
the entire time. But we took that opportunity and we decided to think positive about it and make something positive out of it. And that it turned into, I wouldn't take it back for the world.
Nope.
It was fantastic.
Except for the one time we thought we
and we
lost
figured out how to
Z
pay
in the
for it. I mean,
installation.
with literally random acts of kindness everywhere and random
in crazy
things that
ways.
just so and tons of them that just so happened to come, and we were able to buy a new roof and fix
Put
all
up-
of the insulation in our home and fix the ceilings and fix the
Actually
walls
get
and paint
floors.
everything.
We're
and
like,
get
we're gonna be fine with
floors.
concrete floors. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's
We
crazy.
actually got
It's crazy.
floors put in.
But I mean, I guess all to say manifestation is real in whatever way that you like want to use that word verbally, like
Right.
the
The linguistics of manifestation can be
Changed,
debated,
whatever.
right? But bringing about better things in your life intentionally is a reality.
yeah.
And it's a decision.
Yeah.
And
And we can do that with ourselves, and we can do that with our cats. We can do that with our entire home and our sphere of influence, right? Like
Yeah.
that's what we have.
that's what we're working on.
Yeah, that's what we're working on. So
So we're
anyway,
all
guys,
working on.
thanks so much for joining us. We're going to be live on Facebook for our cat tip review shortly. And for those of you guys that are listening on the podcast, thanks so much for joining us. Please do subscribe.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Oh my God. Happy New Year.
I hope you
guys.
manifest a 2021 like none other.
I feel
and
like
then come
most
back
of our
and tell us about
VIPs are here on YouTube. So we already wished each other a Happy New Year.
it. On New Year.
Oh my God. It's still New Year.
On New Year's.
Happy New Year.
Yes.
Oh,
We
I
love you guys so
guys.
much. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you soon.
Hopefully we'll see you guys on Facebook. And
Yes.
podcast people, love you.
Mwah.
Bye guys.